From the Brockville Museum, I'm talking with Alice McMurtry, and she's the Interpretation and Public Program Coordinator there. And she's here to tell us about all sorts of things that are going on at the Brockville Museum. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Doreen.
So you have so many things that are happening there.
Yes, we do.
Whoa. Let's start with the temporary exhibits that are in the museum. Can you tell us what is there now?
Sure, absolutely. So in our upper gallery, we have an exhibit of Frederick Locke's artwork. So Frederick Locke was a British artist, and he actually came to Brockville in the 1850s and made a lot of close connections with some of the Brockville elite, so people like the Buells and the Sherwoods, and he drew their portraits. And so we have those portraits on display at the museum.
Those would be priceless, though, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, you couldn't put a price on those.
And they're beautiful. He uses a really neat technique. So he's using pastel on dark paper.
Oh, my heavens.
So it's he really gives each person a lot of expression.
That's good. And is there something that's going to be happening with the nursing too?
Yep, so we do have our small nursing exhibit, so that's in the lobby of the museum, and that talks about the history of nursing education in Brockville. So we have some artifacts that date back, I believe, to about the 1880s, and we have some other ones from more recent times, but talking about the history of nursing education, so places like St. Lawrence College and the Brockville General Hospital as well.
Yes, I can remember, and a lot of our viewers will remember too, they actually had a residence right across from the hospital for the nurses, but it's no longer now. I heard something about quilting in the new year.
So quilting is happening in the new year, but stay tuned for more information.
You're not going to tell me anything more, are you? No,
not at this point. But we've got some really neat. One artifact I can tell you about that we may have on exhibit is the Volthausen Hat Factory. They made a quilt out of silk and satin cast-offs from the hats, and it's a crazy quilt, and it's an absolutely beautiful piece. So we hope to have that on display.
Nice. Wow. So let's talk about permanent exhibits. What have you got down there for permanent exhibits?
Well, we've got some exciting things, especially in the Made in Brockville exhibit in the Carriage Hall. We have the iconic New York restaurant sign.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can go and see that. We've also got Briscoe Automobile, so they were manufactured in Brockville. And we also have probably something very familiar to viewers, the horse from Daily Leather Goods.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I
Smokey.
remember that.
Yeah, so he's there at the museum as well.
Good. All righty. So now for the museum, there's not a set fee. Like people give donations, correct? That's still going on?
Yeah, so we do admission by donation. So it's either a cash donation, or if you like, we can also do a credit or debit transaction as well.
So your hours of operation are?
Yep, they're Monday through Saturday, 10 to 4 p.m.
Each day?
Each day, yeah, Monday to Saturday.
Okay, alrighty. Let's talk about what is coming up. Things like community pop-ups. Will you be having any community pop-ups?
So we're hopeful that we will. So stay tuned for more information on that.
You're not going to share, are you? Okay.
But we've got some things happening, hopefully with some local businesses downtown. So what they're going to be are different exhibits, small traveling exhibits, and there'll be a docent with them. So you can go and see them in different locations.
Now you really got my curiosity. You're just not going to tell me more. Well, that's okay. Let's talk about the heritage skills, the actual do-it-yourself kits.
Yeah, so they're actually debuting on Saturday, July 1st.
Good.
So I have one of them that I brought into the studio today.
Thank you.
So it may look like an unassuming takeout container, but inside is some information. We have two kits. We have a tinsmithing kit, which I've brought in for you today. So it contains a little brochure with some information about historical tinsmithing here in Brockville, and a set of instructions to create your very own tin decoration as well.
And so you get to keep it.
Yeah, you do.
So is there a cost associated? I would imagine.
Yep. So these, the tinsmithing kits are $10. And then we
Okay.
also have a fishing lure kit as well. So you'll be able to paint your own fishing lure in the style of Hex Baits, which manufactured fishing lures here in Brockville. So yeah, these are those two kits are going to be available starting July 1st.
That's exciting. So they can purchase them at the museum.
Yep.
And should they call ahead and say, can you set one aside for me? And then they can come and pick it up, or just drop in?
Just drop in.
All right. So you've got a few of them that you can have available at them right away.
Absolutely,
That's good.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Well, I like that idea of being able to actually purchase something and learn from it and make it.
Exactly. Right?
Whoa.
Yeah.
So what age group would be interested in something like this now?
So they're primarily intended for young adults or, or adults, but kids can also get in on the fun with adult supervision, we suggest.
yes,
Yeah. So, for example, we've got our little tin squares. The idea is that you actually take your nail and with your hammer at home, you punch in your own pattern. And we also have some pattern templates available as well. So they're, pretty neat little kit.
I like that.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So the other one you said was a fishing lure?
Yep, fishing lure. So that includes the blank lure as well as paint and a few fishing hooks that you can attach to your lure so you can actually go and get fishing.
And the paint is a paint that can be used in water.
Yep.
It won't
Yeah.
do anything to the environment.
Yeah, exactly.
Aha. I got you. And what is Discovery Packs? What are
So
those?
those are things that you can check out at the museum. So when you visit, so they're included with your admission by donation.
Yes.
So what they are little packs that contain a variety of activities. So you can it's a bit of a scavenger hunt. So you go through and you look for a particular symbol in the museum. And when you see that symbol with the corresponding number, you pull out that corresponding activity that's in the Discovery Pack. Yeah.
That's I like that. Even as an adult, I like that.
Yeah.
So it's not just
Thank
for
you.
children having all this
Yeah,
fun.
absolutely. So there's like a variety of puzzles. There's an artifact in the pack itself that people can actually take a closer look at. So there's lots of different things you can do with a Discovery Pack.
My heavens, you've got a lot going on down there.
Yeah, we do.
So talking tea is always a favorite with our viewers. And what day of the week is that now?
So it's a bit of a change for July.
Okay.
Just for July. That'll be the third Thursday of the month. So that's July 20th. And we'll be talking about the history of Black & Decker in Brockville.
Ooh.
Yeah. So of course they have a long history.
They
here.
do.
Yeah.
They do. And anybody that worked there or is a history buff would love to hear about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What's happening in August then?
August is the history of the Brockville Arts Center. So going back a ways. Yeah.
Yes. And September is?
September is very appropriately the history of some of Brockville's schools.
Oh, of course.
So
Get
doing
ready
a
for
lot
school.
of different just overviews of some of the highlights of the different schools, but also looking at some of the artifacts that we have in our collection and are related to some of Brockville schools as well.
Which is kind of neat because the teaching years ago versus now is quite different.
It is different.
Yeah, and they would use different equipment to get the word across.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what is the cost for the talk and tea?
So talk and tea is $5, and that gets you into the talk and also gets you a cup of tea.
Ooh. Yeah. And what time should people arrive?
So it starts at 2 p.m.
Okay.
And doors usually open. Usually around 1:45. So,
Yes. So anybody who's interested or wants to know more, they can actually go to the website and look up those dates so that you know which one you're going to. Yeah. Is there anything else that you can think of?
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to mention we're also doing exhibit activations. So that'll be happening Tuesdays in July and August from 10 until 12 p.m.
Okay.
And so what those are small drop-in activities that sort of enhance the exhibits that we have on view for people. For example,
Yes.
I'll be setting up one where folks can have a look at some of our artifacts from the Smarts Foundry, and they might get to be able to compare and contrast those artifacts with some of those modern day versions that
Really?
we've come to know and love. Yep.
Oh my
Yeah.
heavens!
Yeah.
That sounds very interesting,
Yeah.
intriguing, kind of. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this year we'll actually be using the outdoor patio on the museum for some of the exhibit activations. So folks might have noticed we have works by Robert Henry Lindsay out on the patio. And one of the activations is called Reflections on the River. And people can take in the exhibit itself, but then they're also invited to draw inspiration from the St. Lawrence like Lindsay did and create their own poems or their own drawings inspired by Brockville's waterfront.
So any artistic type of endeavor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, and the other thing too is, can people still access the different videos on your website?
Yes, yeah. So we have videos on our website, and we also have the Brockville Museum YouTube channel as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So anyone who's at home can just, for whatever reason, it's too hot or whatever,
Yep.
Just go to the website, which is
brockvillemuseum.com.
All right. Thank you for coming in and sitting down. And I like the show and tell.
Thank you.
It always intrigues me to see what is happening at the museum.